Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We're talking Saturday, June 14th. Happy Saturday, everybody. For good or for bad, the Dong Report is back in your life. It's been a lot of bad recently, but it is back in your life. I'm going to have three players on Dong Watch for today that I'm taking, quarter unit plays, all that good stuff. I also have a two-leg parlay that I locked in. If you want to tail that, I'll talk about that as well. Two guys that I'd like to hit a home run but have pretty stinky odds, so just decided to put them in a parlay. But before we talk about all that, we still have to do a recap from yesterday. I'm going to continue recapping, even though it's just been like 8 weeks of just brutal red. And that continued yesterday. Mike Trout, Cal Raleigh, Matt Olson, Cedric Mullins, none of those guys hit a home run. That Orioles-Angels game really was a bust. I was expecting dongs to fly in that game. I think only one, I think only one was hit, if I remember correctly, maybe two. Wasn't the guys that I took. So we were down one unit yesterday. That just continues this downward spiral that we are on. We are now down about 7 units on the year, down about 9.5% ROI on the year as well. All that stuff is true. All that stuff is very bad. Unfortunately, there's no way of hiding it, and it is what it is. Eventually, I am confident that things will turn around. I just could not tell you when that will be. Hopefully, it's today. I do really like the 3 guys that I do have today. Granted, I liked the 4 guys that I had yesterday, and I liked the 3 guys that I had the day before that. It's just been pretty tough, but we're confident. I'm confident we will end the season in the green like we have the previous 2 years. Yeah, maybe we won't get to 61 units of profit like we did 2 years ago, but could we get to 18 by the end of the year? I think so. Let's hope that starts today with 3 guys on Dong Watch. So from a weather perspective, it's not amazing today. Only 1 game in the green, according to Ballpark Pal. A couple games slightly in the green, like a plus 4%. We'll talk about that game. Plus 7%. We'll talk about that game. And then according to Weather Edge, a couple more games that they like. Now, the difference here is that Ballpark Pal takes into account the stadium and the weather, which you can look at them individually if you want, where the Weather Edge just looks at the weather. It's basically like, hey, how does the weather at this specific game, neutral of the stadium, going to impact things for home runs? So from a weather perspective, the Nats-Marlins game looks decent. The Cubs game is gross. When you have winds blowing in at Wrigley Field, I tend to avoid that. Not gross at Angels-Orioles. Phillies-Blue Jays is gross from a weather perspective, and Ballpark Pal agrees on that, minus 11 from a weather. But the stadium is so good for home runs at Philly Stadium that it's still combined slightly in the green, and we're going to talk about that as well. Slightly in the green at Rockies Braves, which does match Ballpark Pal. Horrible hitter stadium at Kansas City Royals, so it doesn't really matter that it is a slightly positive weather game, because you can see minus 14 at Kauffman Stadium just because they have such massive the outfield is so big. You just have to hit the ball farther than most stadiums in order for that to be a home run. And then gross at the Yankees Red Sox, which is an agreement from Ballpark Pal as well. So I like the fact when there is generally agreement, because you can kind of trust the data from multiple sources as opposed to just one. Hopefully that weather report was helpful for you guys. The first player that we are locking in here is Ronald Acuna Jr. We are taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 400 odds at ESPN Bet. And that is the best offered price that's still available at plus 400, so you should be able to lock that in with no issues. So Ronald Acuna Jr., since he has come back from injury, it's been a couple weeks now, he's just been on fire. I mean, barrel rate of 17.9% is really, really good. He's hitting fly balls, 33% fly ball rate. It's pretty good. I mean, it matches Azuna over the last 30 days. All that stuff for Ronald Acuna Jr. is really, really good. And I know some people don't always care about this. Some people do. So take it for what you want. But he hit the crap out of the baseball yesterday. 112 EV, 16-degree launch angle. 108 EV, 18-degree launch angle. Like, those are both decently put in the air. You want maybe a little bit higher. But those baseballs are smoked. And then, oh yeah, another 102 miles per hour off the bat. That's 3 hits above 100 miles an hour for Ronald Acuna Jr. And the biggest thing that I want to mention here is the pitching matchup. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Chase Dollander is pitching for the Rockies. Now, he's not a terrible pitcher. He is kind of a dong ball guy. He does like to allow home runs. He's allowed 4 in the last 5 starts. Granted, he missed some time. So you see like that 4 home run every 16 at-bats. That is bad. If that number is more than 20 at-bats per home run, that is bad. I guess technically fewer, whatever. You know what I'm saying. If the number is under 20, that's really, really bad. And the biggest issue is his four-seam fastball. Now, of course it is, because he throws that four-seam fastball 61% of the time. But Ronald Acuna Jr. has incredible stats against the four-seamer. I mean, we're talking 35% barrel rate on the year, 76% hard hit rate, 46% fly ball rate. I mean, it really is amazing what he does to four-seam fastballs. And yesterday, two of his hits that was crushed were off of the four-seamer. 108, traveled 360 feet. 112, traveled 360 feet. I mean, he really just destroys four-seam fastballs. And yeah, he's hit 3 home runs off of them on the year. And it's for him on the year is like 3 months. So it's half the home runs that Matt Olson has hit. And Olson, you can look at the at-bats, 17 to 64. It's been, I mean, like I said, he's just been crushing it. You look at four-seam fastball specifically. Plate IQ is going to, I mean, all these different sources track things differently, so the numbers aren't going to be the exact same. As long as they're close and then they kind of match each other, that's all we're kind of looking for. Barrel rate, 40%. Hard hit rate, 80%. Fly ball rate, 50%. I mean, putting the ball in the air, and that is the home run pitch for Chase Dollander. You know, at the beginning of the year, I think he allowed 4 home runs in his first start. So if you look at the entire season for Dollander, it's actually going to look a lot worse in terms of his home run numbers, because it was, 4. I mean, at the beginning of the year, 2 home runs, 4 home runs. I'm taking all that out, just looking at the last 5 weeks, and the numbers still look bad. So Ronald Acuna Jr., he mashes four-seam fastballs. He's mashing the baseball in general. He's going to see the four-seamer like 60% of the time today, as long as he can just get slightly more lift than he got yesterday, which he has been capable of doing. I'm pretty confident that he's going to be able to clear one over the fence. That is our first play, Ronald Acuna Jr. to hit a home run. Next up, we're going with Max Kepler. We're taking him to hit a home run. He is another guy that I really like the starting pitching matchup. We're going to talk about that. He is best offered at plus 500 odds at Ballybet. Now, I understand not everybody can use Ballybet. I call it a Mickey Mouse book. No problem. You can get 475 at DraftKings, which I would still take. And for those of you exchange users that use the exchanges like Novig and ProphetX, you can right now get plus 478 at Novig, but you can also try and request plus 500 to get that matched. And that's what I did. I tried to get the plus 500 number. Now, looking at Kepler, you know, he had a stretch from like the beginning of May where he hit the ball really, really well. Then he had a pretty pronounced cold streak. Recently, he has come out of that. So if you look at his numbers, the last 30 days obviously does include part of that cold streak, but look at the barrel rate. Who's got number 1 on the Phillies? 20% barrel rate over the last 30 days. That would be Max Kepler. Now, he doesn't play every single day, so he only plays when against right-handed pitching. So if a lefty comes in, more often than not, he's going to get pinch hit for. But when he has played recently, he's been really, really good. I mean, again, 20% barrel rate. ISO rate over the last 30 days leads the Phillies 208. That's pretty good. Now, he strikes out a decent amount, but that's okay because, again, I talk about it all the time. The players with the best home run numbers, even the guys like that, this is not me. Let me back up. The players with the best home run numbers, I say this all the time, have the highest strikeout rates. And even though I am myself on a cold streak, that fact is the same. You look at the top players in terms of home runs hit, they're all going to have a strikeout rate. Like the top 10, I think, all have a strikeout rate above 20%. It's because they're swinging for the fences. And Max Kepler, he's out of that cold streak. He's barreling the ball up very well recently. And the biggest thing, it's very similar to the one Chase Dollander. He's going up against Bowden Francis. Now, another dong machine, 8 home runs allowed in his last 5 starts. A home run allowed every 13 at-bats is truly disgusting. Guess who's the biggest culprit? The four-seam fastball, which he throws 55% of the time. But he's even worse against lefties. Home run every 9 at-bats against left-handed pitching in his last 5 starts. That is disgusting. True, I could go out there and allow home run every 9 at-bats. And it's very similar. The biggest issue, four-seam fastball, throws it 56% of the time. Similar to Ronald Acuna Jr. Guess who has the best numbers on the season? This is not even recently. This is looking at the entire year against the four-seam fastball from righties. Look at the entire season. Barrel rate. Guess who is number 1? That would be Max Kepler, almost 28%. Hard hit rate is second So Schwarber has a higher hard hit rate, 70%. I mean, that's incredible versus 63%. Still really good. Guess who's got the highest fly ball rate? That would be Max Kepler. Guess who's got the highest ISO rate, which is just kind of showing you the historical numbers off of his power? That would be Max Kepler. I mean, and he only strikes out specifically against the four-seamer 18% of the time. So these percentage numbers, 28% barrel rate, 63% hard hit rate, all while not striking out as much, is really impressive. And then you look at recently, it's been even better. I mean, barrel rate, 35%. Hard hit rate went up to 64.7%. Fly ball rate went slightly down to 41%, but the ground ball rate also went down, meaning he's hitting more line drives. So all these numbers are very impressive for Max Kepler. And you just go through the log. I mean, you look at, we're going to go to Max Kepler, so we're going to go to the Phillies. This is Game Day Insights, which just is a good way to show you the exact stuff that I'm looking at. Going to Max Kepler. I mean, these are the last 5 times he has, the at-bat has ended with a fastball. This is not even, it includes, like you see he struck out against Paul Skeens, but 105.5 off the bat, home run, 101.7, 108.3, 105.1, 103.8. He really, really hits fastballs hard. And again, that's what he's going to see almost 56% of the time. So I really like Max Kepler to hit a home run, obviously. The other 2 pitches that are home run pitches for Bowden Francis don't look as good, admittedly, for Max Kepler, the splitter and the curveball. The best numbers against those 2 is going to be Kyle Schwarber. Now, we're going to talk about Kyle Schwarber to give you guys a sneak preview. But the four-seamer is what I'm confident that Kepler's going to see all the time, and what I'm confident he's going to be able to hit a home run off of. So that's play number 2. And then my third and final pick is actually in this same game. I'm taking Alejandro Kirk to hit a home run. He is best offered all the way up at plus 900 odds at ESPN Bet. Now, you can get 830 at FanDuel, which I would still take for whatever reason if ESPN Bet you can't use. But this one, I really, really like the odds. The only home run that I have hit this week has been a long shot play. And that one was plus 1,000. Let's hope we can get a plus 900. You look at the last 10 games, last 12 games for Alejandro Kirk, you can make the argument that he's hitting the ball the hardest in the MLB. I mean, we're looking at just looking at EV logs. Let me zoom in a little bit. EV logs that are players that have hit the ball faster or 100 miles an hour or faster over the last 10 games. Guess who's number 1? Alejandro Kirk. Literally, this is in the entire MLB. This is looking at every single batter. He is number 1 with 18. And even if you go to the last 5, you go to the last 3, he's not still at the top of the MLB, but he's still hitting the ball enough. So it's not like he's just completely gone cold. 7 over the last 5 games, 4 over the last 3. That number, that stuff's all good. And again, you want to make sure that he's not currently going on a cold streak or anything like that. Yesterday, the Blue Jays got blanked. They did not score a single run. They got pitched against pretty well by Ranger Suarez. The only player that really did anything, Alejandro Kirk, had 3 hard hits yesterday. Now, none of those were anything resembling that could have been a home run, but at least he's still hitting the ball well. And then you look at his last 12 games here. This is really when his hot streak started, so a little bit more than 10 games ago. This is just per FanGraphs showing you the data. Last 12 games, 32 hard hits. I mean, you look at some of these hard hit numbers: 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 1. He's got 2 games in this stretch he's got 0 with 0, and he's got 2 games with only 1. Again, we mentioned the 3 yesterday. Barrel rate of 15%. That's good. That's in the excellent threshold in terms of barrel rate. Now, yeah, it's a smaller sample size, but still he's been barreling the ball up well. And then has that actually led to home runs? Twice on the 9th and the 10th, he was able to hit a home run. Now, the important part about these home runs, and then we're going to talk about the pitching matchup. So he's going up against Christopher Sanchez, who's a good pitcher. Christopher Sanchez is, in fact, a good pitcher. He is a little bit more hittable against righties. Home run every 37 at-bats. That's pretty good. I admit, that is a good number. But he doesn't give up anything to lefties, so at least a righty can get him. Barrel rate of 8% is not unhittable. These are his last 5 starts. Hard hit rate, 46% is pretty good. And then the line drive rate is high, while the fly ball rate is low. So I mentioned Alejandro Kirk has only hit 2 home runs in his last, in this stretch where he's been hitting the crap out of the baseball. What I wanted to highlight were the 2 home runs that he hit. They were off of sinkers. and I guess those are off of righties as opposed to a lefty, but he's still been hitting lefties hard. So let's go back. Alejandro Kirk last month against lefties, 58% hard hit rate, 9% barrel rate is not terrible, but you look at his EV logs. I mean, 3 hard hits yesterday against Ranger, left-handed pitcher. 107.6 Alpha Matthew Liberatore, good pitcher, lefty. And the 2 home runs that he's hit, I'm pretty sure those are both against sinkers. Yes, that was correct. They're from sinkers from righties as opposed to lefties, but they were at least hit off of the sinker. And you look at Christopher Sanchez, those are the only, like the home runs that he throws was only against the sinker and the slider. I guess that's over the last 30 days. The sinker and the slider, the 2 home run pitches. And Alejandro Kirk has decent numbers against both of those pitches. You look at him, plate IQ, looking at him against the sinker. I mean, this is a tiny sample size. It's 4 at-bats, but 25% barrel rate, 75% hard hit rate. You look at the entire season, second best, 12.5% barrel rate. That's not amazing, but again, he hit the ball very hard against the sinker. And then you look at the slider, and same thing, 12.5% barrel rate, 62% hard hit rate. Again, these are small sample size numbers because everything against the lefty is going to be a small sample size. But you look at him against the year against lefties, 12.5% barrel rate. You look at him in the last 30 days, 20% barrel rate against lefties, and a decent number of plate appearances. I mean, 22 is more than David Schneider, who had 10. So 20% barrel rate against lefties. And again, the sinker is the pitch that he hits the hardest. And it's a little bit different coming from a righty versus a lefty, but at least he hits lefties hard and he hits sinkers hard. So that is play number 3, Alejandro Kirk to hit a home run, plus 900 odds at ESPN Bet. And then the last play that I locked in, if you want to tail or not, is I did a 2-leg parlay with Kyle Schwarber and how come it's not showing up here? I did it with Kyle Schwarber and Matt Olson. I wish the names showed up here, but that's what I did. I did a 2-leg parlay with Matt Olson and Kyle Schwarber. I put literally 0.1 units on that. That's $10. Olson, a lot of the numbers that I mentioned with Ronald Acuna Jr. about how well he hits the 4-seam fastball and all that stuff, it applies to Matt Olson as well. Matt Olson's also been hitting the ball well. I went with him yesterday and he didn't come through, but you look at Matt Olson against the 4-seamer. This is on the season. You look at the last, on the season is good too. 18% barrel rate. You look at the last month, also really good. 21% barrel rate, 62% hard hit rate. You look at his game logs. The same thing, but he really just crushes 4-seamers. 99.5, 101.7, 105.4, 389-foot flyout. That was brutal to not be a home run. 102. The same thing when you go to plate IQ, you look at him against the 4-seam fastball. Ronald Acuna Jr. is number 1 at 40%. Guess who's right behind him? Matt Olson. So I like him a lot to hit a home run. And then again, I parlayed him with Kyle Schwarber going up against another dong machine in Bowden Francis. And I mentioned, so Schwarber against the 4-seamer is still good. 11% barrel rate is not terrible. But what Schwarber really hits well are the other 2 home run pitches for Bowden Francis. So I mentioned the other 2 weren't as good for Max Kepler, the splitter and the curveball. They are really good for Kyle Schwarber. We look at both the curveball and the splitter for Kyle Schwarber. Now, this is over the last month. Really destroying the baseball. Granted, he does strike out a lot, so his percentage numbers are going to be better. But 27% barrel rate, 100% hard hit rate. Granted, he struck out half the time, so keep that in mind. But you look at the whole season, that's only a month sample size. The whole season, still really good for Schwarber. 18% barrel rate, 2/3 of the time hitting a hard hit, fly ball 1/3 of the time. And when he makes contact, 399-foot flyout, 438-foot home run. That's when he makes contact with these baseballs. And those are the other 2 home run pitches for Bowden Francis. So 3 guys I'm taking straight: Ronald Acuna Jr., Max Kepler, Alejandro Kirk, and then the 2-leg parlay of Matt Olson and Kyle Schwarber as well. And that's all we got. So 3, kind of 5 guys to lock in. However you want to play it is up to you. I'm just telling you how I played today's Dong Report. I appreciate everybody for watching, and I appreciate the positivity for those of you that have still been rocking with me. Make sure to bet responsibly. Let's finally hope we can have some good luck, and have a good one.